Hi friends, welcome to CSCpedia. Today we're going to discuss about another unit in compiler design, the most important unit in compiler design, top-down parsing. Okay, in the previous classes we already discussed about phases of a compiler, right? Okay, so what are the basic phases of a compiler? So the first one is lexical analysis, second one is syntax analysis, third one is semantic analysis, fourth one is intermediate code generation, code optimization and code generation. So what exactly are these phases? And as we know that all these phases are combinedly called as a pass. So one pass equal to 6 phases. Okay, what happens in lexical analysis? So I'm just giving an overview of it. Okay, I'm not going to explain all the 6 phases here. I'm just giving the overview of it. So in lexical analysis, we'll take a source program. So end of the day, remember, the compiler takes a source program and converts that into target output. Okay, so what's the source program we take? For example, we take c equal to a plus b into 5. Okay, so c equal to a plus b into 5. So as we know in lexical analysis, what exactly happens? In lexical analysis, your source program is divided into tokens. Like it is divided into c individually equal to a plus b into 5 individually into tokens. As you know that c is an identifier, equal to is an assignment operator, a is an identifier, plus is an addition symbol, b is an identifier, star is a multiplication symbol, and 5 can be either integer or float. So it's our wish whether we convert from integer to float or float to int. So that's what lexical analysis is all about. Coming to syntax analysis, so syntax analysis is nothing but we need to construct a parse tree of it. Okay, so once it is divided into tokens, okay, now we'll construct a parse tree. So we'll construct we can also call it as a syntax tree. So what we do here, equal to, will occupy as a root. As you know that it is divided into L value and R value. So L value is left value and R value is right value. So this is L value, this is R value. So equal to becomes your root and C, and again this A becomes L value and B into 5 becomes R value. Okay. Now plus becomes your root and the left child is A, and again now B becomes L value and 5 becomes R value. Okay. So now star becomes your root and B becomes your left root, left child, and 5 becomes your, and if from 5, so this is your 5. Okay, now this is called as a parse tree. That means how we process from top to bottom. Okay, so coming to top down parsing. So forget about whether it is a top down parsing or bottom up parsing. At the end of the day, we are focusing upon the parsing. So how your input is parsed and how it is scanned. It is always scanned from left to right, and how it is divided into tokens. Okay, so before going to know the role of a parser, okay, forget about whether we are going to discuss about top down or bottom up. First we should know what parsing is all about. Okay, and before knowing what is parsing, so parsing is nothing but scanning from left to right. Okay, scanning your complete input from left to right. And before knowing that, first we should know what are the issues present in parsing. What are the basic issues present in parsing? So what are the basic issues present in parsing? So remember there are two major issues present in parsing. So the first one is specification of syntax and how. So we are constructing a parse tree. That's fine, and we should know that what syntax are we following, what specification of syntax are we following, whether your syntax is correct, whether the grammar which you are taking is a context free grammar, whether is that grammar an ambiguous grammar. So what's an ambiguous grammar basically? If we generate more than one or more parse tree for the given grammar, then that grammar is said to be ambiguous grammar. Whether the context of that parsing is correct or not, whether it has a perfect meaning or not, whether the syntax have a particular semantics or not. So these are the basic issues which arises in the syntax while constructing a parse tree. So the basic issue, the first and foremost basic issue is specification of syntax. Okay, somehow we overcome this issue. And the second one is what after it is parsed, the parsing is done. Now what to do? Whether it should follow a top-down approach or bottom-up approach. So what if it follows top-down approach? What if it follows bottom-up approach? And what is the final outcome? Whether are we getting the target outcome or not perfectly, whether it is scanned perfectly or not, whether it is divided into tokens or not. So these are the basic issues in parsing. So once we know these issues in parsing, later on, once these issues are overcome, then we will know about the role of a parser. Role of a parser. So, what is the role of a parser? So, in order to explain the role of a parser, we should construct a diagram. Okay, we are into parsing. So, what is the parsing is in the second phase. That means the first phase is lexical analysis. Second phase is syntax analysis. We call it a syntax tree or a parse tree. Okay, that means in order to define the role of a parser, so we are into second phase. The first we'll have a source input and finally we'll get a target output. As we know that it is divided into two. Your sixth phase is divided into two. The first one is called front end of a compiler. The first three is called front end of a compiler and the last two is called the back end of a compiler. So lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis comes under front end of a compiler and code optimization, code generation comes under back end of a compiler. And your intermediate code generation lies between front end of a compiler and the back end of a compiler. I hope you understand this. Now, we are taking a source input here. Okay. So first, we have a source input. And that source input is given to lexical analysis, lexical analyzer, isn't it? So, lexical analyzer will perform lexical analysis task. So, this is lexical analyzer and we have a parser. Okay, so the role of parsing is done by a parser, right? So how this parsing is done? So what does parser need? Okay, as I said, in lexical analysis, what we did, we divided our source program. So this is source input, right? So we divided the source input into group of tokens, right? So what does parser need here? Parser need tokens. Okay, so with whom the parser will ask? Who parser will demand? Tokens are present with lexical analyzer, right? So parser will demand tokens from lexical analyzer. Okay. So here we need to start from a parser and we need to come back here. Okay, we have a source input, that's fine. Now parser wants tokens. Parser doesn't want direct source input. Parser wants divided token to construct a parse tree. Okay, so what does parser do? Parser demands tokens. Now parser is asking tokens. What does lexical analyzer do? Lexical analyzer will check the source input and divides that source input into tokens and checks whether parser really asked tokens or not, demanded for tokens or not. Yes, parser demanded for tokens. Now, this lexical analyzer will provide tokens to the parser. Okay, so once parser have tokens, now the job of a parser is to construct a parse tree. Okay, so after that parse tree, we are not going to discuss. That comes in a later units. Okay, we are discussing about parsing. Okay, so a parse tree is generated and simply we will write as a rest of a compiler. Rest of a compiler, and finally we will get a target output. Target output. So in this whole process, we have symbol table management and error handler. What if error occurs? And remember, in every phase these two are common: symbol table management and error handler. Okay, so finally we'll get a group of we'll get the target output. So you understood what's happening here. So a source input is given to lexical analyzer and parser will demand for tokens and lexical analyzer will provide tokens and parser will generate a parse tree. So this is a role of a parser. So later on we can go for top down parsing, and in top down parsing we have different methods. Okay. So top down parsing is nothing but starting from root and how we are finally reaching our leaf nodes. Bottom up parsing is entirely opposite to top down parsing. We will process leaf nodes and we will traverse to the root. That's a bottom up approach. So here in our unit we are going to discuss about top down approach. So before going to that concept, we should have a profound knowledge on this role of a parser. So I hope you understood this topic. So the people who are first time watching my channel, please subscribe to my channel and please share my videos to your friends and well-wishers, and please support my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.